To finish up Chapter 10, we're going to look at in Section 10.6, Annuities, Sinking Funds, and Retirement Investments. In Section 10.2 and 10.3, we studied simple and compound interest and answered questions involving the investment of one lump sum of money. Although such questions are relevant, more appropriate questions might involve investing smaller amounts of money on a regular basis over a long period of time. So the idea is here, instead of investing one lump sum at the beginning, it may be more practical to invest, $100 every month or $20 every month or whatever the case may be. So our first definition here is an annuity. So an annuity is an account into which or out of which a sequence of scheduled payments is made. An annuity into which equal payments are made at regular intervals with the interest compounded at the end of each interval with a fixed interest rate for each compounding period is called an ordinary annuity or a fixed annuity. Right? A sinking fund is a type of annuity in which the goal is to save a specific amount of money in a specific amount of time. So what we're going to look at in this section is we're going to look at a couple of different examples talking about either our ordinary annuities or our sinking funds. Right? And the differences as we're thinking about these problems is kind of similar to the idea of some of our compound interest compared to our present value formula. Right? In an ordinary annuity, that is going to be used when we wish to determine the accumulated amount obtained over n years when you contribute a fixed amount each period. So when we're thinking about an ordinary annuity, that is telling us that the amount of money that we're going to have at the end of the time period that we're looking at. Right? A sinking fund is used when you wish to determine how much money an investor must invest in each period to reach an accumulated amount at a specific time. So instead of thinking about the end amount, we are thinking about how much needs to be invested, right, each month. So depending on the type of question that you're looking at, you want to be able to pick out the appropriate type of problem and appropriate formula. Right? So a couple other definitions to do with ordinary annuities. And then we'll go through and talk about some examples of ordinary annuities versus our sinking funds. Right? The amount of money that is present in an ordinary annuity after T years is known as the accumulated amount or the future value of an annuity. To determine the accumulated amount of an ordinary annuity, we could use a computer to generate a spreadsheet as on the next page. So kind of like we saw for our mortgages, if we're thinking about investing a certain amount of money over a certain amount of time, this is something that can also be generated by a computer. So what we have here, the payment number, the monthly investment, the interest, and then the accumulated amount. So in this case, we're investing money in an ordinary annuity with an interest rate of 5% compounded monthly. So our first payment is the initial $100 invested. There is no interest calculated on that first month, so there's our accumulated amount is simply the first amount of our payment, which is $100. Then our second payment, we invest another $100. Well, we earn 42 cents interest on the previous one. Right? So that gives us an accumulated amount of the first 100 invested plus the second 100 invested plus the interest of $200.42. And then from there we keep going. Right? So when we were looking at the mortgage table and we were looking at our amortization table, we said that at the beginning a lot of our payments were interest. Right? And interest decreased as we went. This is the opposite case. We're starting out by earning very little interest, but as we go, notice that our interest is actually, once this account is going, this investment is going for a while, our interest is actually much larger than our investment. Right? So the idea is here by investing the same amount of money over a period of time, eventually the money that has been previously invested helps to increase the amount of interest as well.